Good Monday evening, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center with another severe weather update as we're tracking a line of potentially severe thunderstorms here toward the eastern Florida Big Bend. You can see some action here on the Doppler looking pretty strong right now. We're looking at some of the velocity values here. They're not extreme, but a tricky situation because we're kind of between some different radars here and pretty rural area, so we're not going to necessarily get the reports in here that quickly. We did get one damage report from a little while ago off toward the east there and toward parts of Lafayette County, though, where 4 miles west-northwest of the community of Grady, there was a report of a big tree that was down there that came into the 911 call center in the area. So I just want to let you guys know about that, and you can kind of see the progression here of this act, and I back it up here. That wasn't the most intense area. I know the warning initially was for action further down to the south, but that area to the north actually ended up seeing what the damage, getting the damage report there on it from that different view there within the Doppler radar. So again, just trying to continue to watch things, some different pockets of wind moving toward Perry right now. Still seeing some action there around Mayo. Had a gust of wind there a little earlier to 43 miles an hour. So some gustier winds there in the region. We'll have to keep an eye on what the Perry Airport there shows on their center in the next little bit. But again, just trying to check here the latest information. I know we do have a severe thunderstorm warning issued by the Jacksonville office, but it's actually just north of our viewing area toward Jeff Davis County. But we're seeing a western movement at 5, so it could end up getting into Coffee County, which would be part of our viewing area. So heads up there. You can see around Denton, maybe some stronger winds there. That could end up getting closer toward Broxton here over the next little bit. As we look, you can kind of see some of that action there, maybe more toward Pridgeon even. Broxton, another storm down to the south there. That's west of Douglas here, northwest of that community. Based on the Doppler indications, you can see some stronger storms toward Morgan, toward Dawson as well. But right now, our one thunderstorm warnings for a pretty wide area, and since we had that damage report, from a little bit earlier on, I just thought we'd jump on at least for a few minutes. May not stay on too long here based on radar trends. It's again a tricky situation. Again, we don't have the greatest radar coverage out here, and the reports might take a little while to come on in, but just want to let you guys know we do have a little bit of wind enhancement here within the Doppler. You can see as we back it up earlier, we had some boundaries involved here toward parts of Lafayette County, maybe helping to take down that tree. Not sure on that, but you could see a little bit of wind in there right where that spot was. It didn't access up all that well, so you just never know exactly what could happen down to the surface. This warning going all the way up toward Madison there, toward Lee. A pretty big warning as we've talked about. Boyd, Perry, Pineland, Day, Mayo, Salem, over toward to Nail, Steinhatchee, depending on how you want to pronounce that. They're under this warning as well. So it's for western parts of Lafayette County as well as northwestern parts of Dixie, Taylor, and then southeastern parts of Madison County here until 7:30. At 6:09, severe thunderstorms are located along the line there, extending from near, it looks like, Lauraville to near the Steinhatchee community, moving northwest at about 15 miles an hour. So again, continuing to watch things on the Doppler radar here. We're going to go ahead and continue to look at some different things here. Look at 1 hour rainfall rate. You can see them adding up in Dixie County, over 2 inches there, closer toward to Nail there. So just kind of interesting to see as we look at some more information. Try to give you guys the latest updates here on exactly what's happening. Again, severe thunderstorm warning, this goes all the way out to 7:30, so for over another hour this warning is in play. That's one reason we weren't necessarily in a big hurry to come on. We already had one of these to the east and so forth, just one damage report. But again, it may take a little while for some of the reports to trickle on in. You see a little bit of enhancement there in northeastern parts of Taylor County, it looks like. So we'll watch that. Let's go ahead and switch on over right now towards some of our power outage information. Give you an update on some of these outages in Florida and Georgia. I know we were showing that to you earlier when we were on for a flash flood warning for parts of Decatur County, Georgia. That's no longer a warning that's in play. It's been allowed to expire there toward Bainbridge. So that's some good news. We did end up having some flooding reports come in out of that region. And again, the other report we've talked about toward the eastern Big Bend. So let's now go ahead and take it on over to our other source. You'll kind of get an idea of what we're talking about with the outages. It's taking its time loading, but you can see there Leon County, some outages there, Columbia County, and then maybe some lesser percentage of outages as we get toward the Swanee River Valley there, further off toward the west of Lake City anyway. So again, let me go ahead and interact with this. So we'll kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on here. Let's go ahead and see what the numbers look like. CC Dixie, a few. Gilchrist, a few. Lafayette County, there are 42 customers in the dark. Taylor, none yet, but that could change. You see here, just kind of moving around here on the board. I know sometimes our systems go a little slow, but just kind of seeing a few outages here and there. Leon a little more, but just got to kind of be cognizant of what's going on here with these storms. Nothing overwhelming, and that's definitely good news here. Definitely if we got a damaging gust to the surface, it would be in an isolated area in this type of pattern that we're dealing with. And then let's go ahead and see the broad view again of the area. Just giving you guys a broad perspective on things. You can see in Georgia with this warning in Jeff Davis County, and that's just outside of our area. But let's go ahead and show you the Georgia outage information now. You can see here a few outages there of southwest Georgia, but nothing overwhelming. So that's definitely some good news. We'll keep our eyes on all those different numbers here. But again, just trying to see exactly what's going on. We're not going to stay on too long, I don't think, because these radar echoes are not all that strong. But since we had a damage report, I know they wanted this to be on the side of Cossin there. Extend this warning off toward the west there, off toward the northwest, the Weather Service in Tallahassee. So let's go back over to velocity right here. Again, you can see toward parts of northern Lafayette County there, a little bit of wind enhancements. So some of that, though, looks to be just really right around when we don't have as much storminess. So just kind of intriguing to see that within the radar echo. Sometimes you'll kind of get false signatures, but I could end up seeing some stronger wind down to the surface there based on that higher hail indication. There may be stronger storm development. Our GDR products showing a little bit of scale growth in here with the red to the north. It's just false echoes. But again, continuing to watch things here. I know we are watching that storm in Jeff Davis County. Could end up being an issue for Coffee County here, like we've talked about as well. So that's something we'll be watching. See a little bit of stronger winds in Coffee. Just trying to go back and forth here. You can see a little bit of wind enhancement near Withers there. Maybe a little bit of a downburst trying to form, but no advisory on the board as of yet. So that's some good news. I know different parts of the state getting some different reports in, not in our area, but toward Kenneth City in Pinellas County. They did have some quarter-sized hail there, around 5-10, that trickling in toward the chat session here. So again, just keeping our eyes on things. Nothing overwhelming, but we wanted to jump on at least for a few minutes to let you know what's going on here. Severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Lafayette County, western Lafayette, as well as northwestern Dixie, Taylor, and in southeastern Madison until 7:30. So Mayo, Madison, Perry, Hatchie there, Lee, Pineland, Tennelle, Jug Island, Claro, Buckville, as well as Delk Beach, Jonesboro, Jackley Island. Just kind of going through this here, the airport there on Perry, San Pedro Junction, Hampton Springs, Cedar Island, Fish Creek. So again, just kind of giving you guys an idea of everything that's going on here. 60-mile-an-hour gust to hazard. Hail expected to be under 3/4 of an inch in diameter. So that's some good news. I know maybe impacting people getting some of their back-to-school shopping done here. So just got to keep that in mind as we're watching things, as we're watching the radar echoes here on this Monday evening. Not seeing anything too noteworthy in correlation coefficient there. Just checking between some of our different sources. I know just trying to see exactly what's going on. Maybe some upscale growth there toward northern parts of Hamilton County, west of Jennings, maybe a little bit of development there based on some of our different algorithms, some of our different signatures that we get within the Doppler radar. So got to keep our eyes on that. I know if you're watching from Bradford County, though, things have been staying pretty dry today, despite a pretty fair amount of warnings. We've not seen as many busy days necessarily this year, this summer, as we've had in some previous summers, but we have had a decent amount of warnings today. I know we're kind of just erring on the side of caution in some cases coming on, but a lot of situations we're just kind of seeing the echoes and thinking that the chances of verification are lower, and we're not actually coming on. And in that case, of course, the alerts will be put out on Facebook, on Twitter, And then you also have not just the main accounts there that we send you to there, but you also have the auto alerts as well at Cloud_WX on Twitter. So that's another source besides Facebook at KCCloudWX and at Cloud Weather, and then Twitter at Cloud Casey, and then of course you can watch live coverage there, but also YouTube, search for Meteorologist Casey Cloud, or Twitch Meteorologist Casey Cloud, and all the links available on the homepage at cloudweather.com, where you can also get to interactive radar by clicking on the radar tab there. And then you also have, just going down that page below the forecast where we were talking about that enhanced chance for rain today, you can see the interactive forecast map as well. That's helpful to kind of project some things out if you're on the go here, just trying to get an idea on some different things. So just take things easy out there as we're watching this weather situation. Though, again, nothing overwhelming. This does not look at this point like any type of tornadic situation. You don't get those too often in the summertime. Of course, the next tornado threat, per se, for our area will be with some type of tropical system. There's nothing to watch here at this point that's any type of local threat, but just I was looking back at some different things today. Do that a lot here in the Weather Center to kind of get a historic analog on things, just try to get an idea of what can happen and how sometimes we get tornadoes to develop in those, and that's something we'll watch here if we get some type of system close by. But right now, nothing too concerning. There's one system way out in the Atlantic we're watching. There's some other areas and models that maybe try to develop here in some cases, but again, nothing to stress out about, nothing to really get into. We'll talk a little more tomorrow, depending on exactly what the models are showing then and what the trends are. But again, right now, this is more about those afternoon, evening type storms, which generally they are not too overwhelming, but of course that lightning threat is another thing you got to consider. Remember, when thunder roars, you want to go indoors. Just keep that in mind. That can be dangerous, obviously. That electrical energy we saw toward Washington, D.C. there last week, unfortunately, with fatality being reported there right there near the White House. Pretty crazy to think about, but definitely got to keep everybody in our thoughts and prayers in that situation. But you got to always just to remember, whenever that electrical energy is around, it is dangerous. I know you can get caught off guard sometimes. Things can develop quickly. You can have that upscale growth quickly, and these storms can be dangerous. So just keep that in mind there. Keep that in mind as we continue to watch here. Now, we're watching another storyline develop, or at least that could potentially develop here later on towards St. Louis. And because of what we've already seen towards St. Louis, I know have some flood watches in play up there, and we could no doubt get a situation to develop there that could end up turning into a dangerous flooding threat. So let me go ahead and switch sources again. We see some rain developing there, but if we get some more storms and heavy storms to develop, we could have dangerous flooding toward east central Missouri tonight. Remember, turn around, don't drown. That's very important, that mantra from the Weather Service. We could end up having roads covering in water. You might not be able to see the depth of the water, I know. So the recovery process continues there in eastern Kentucky. The president was there today, and still, of course, just got to always watch out if we were to get heavier rain over some of these areas, because we've seen so many issues arise. We've had the fatalities occur there. I mean, talking about dozens there, unfortunately, passing away due to flooding. That situation a little bit different in some regard in St. Louis, and the flooding we saw earlier that week, where we had all the dangerous hydrological conditions there. I know we're seeing a situation where the water was just coming up so quick in a mountainous area, people in homes that were having to get out. More about the roads there towards St. Louis, though, with that flooding, and that would probably be the case tonight, even though they are way above what they said we see in here in terms of rain for St. Louis for this time of year. But it's more about the roads here, and just turning around, don't not drowning there, versus the actual just water coming into homes and causing people to have to get on the roof, and that's not a good situation to be in, obviously. Really dangerous, the flooding that can go on. We're not seeing anything like that around now. We did have a flash flood warning earlier for Decatur County, Georgia, though. We were on 4. We were seeing the water come up, seeing some flood reports come in. I know Tallahassee office was talking about that earlier here in the chat session. They put the LSR, the local storm report, in here. So let me go ahead and kind of go up toward that, I'll see exactly what that said here. I know we already had that big tree reported down toward the community there of Grady and Lafayette County around 5:30, and the Big Bend of Florida in Augusta 43 miles an hour at 5:40 at the high school there. And we've seen another warning issue since then, and we're jumping on for that. But there were a few reports of flooded roadways in Bainbridge right around 5 o'clock, that coming in after we got off the air there earlier on, though. So a few reports of flooded roadways there. Again, not seeing that as much now. The rain's really stopped in that area, which is good. You can see a highlight there toward that area. You can see some heavier rain that's fallen there toward Waycross there, some toward the Nature Coast as well, toward Levy County there. You can even see, I mean, this is getting even toward Citrus County. That's outside of our official covered area here, but you can see some areas there getting south of Inglis over 4 inches of rain there. That's north of Crystal River for perspective. So I can keep our eyes on that. And we just got another update here from the Weather Service on this warning that's continuing. They've taken Dixie out of it, but now at 6:36 they're continuing this for Taylor, Lafayette, and Madison counties there. Severe thunderstorms located along the line extending from near Madison to 13 miles northwest there of Steinhatchee, moving northwest at 20 miles an hour. Madison, Perry, Lee, Highland, Jug Island, Delk Beach there, Jackley Island, Salem there, the airport around Perry, Hampton Springs, Cedar Island, Fish Creek, Howell Place, Mosley Hall, Hopewell under this as well. So Boyd too, just kind of giving you guys a lot of those cities that are under this here at this point. So let's go back over to velocity from the Moody Air Force Base radar. This went up about 4,000 feet, which isn't all that bad, but it's kind of seeing a murky picture. I know the rain going from north to south sometimes making it a little bit harder maybe to see some of this action here, and based on how we're looking at it, it's kind of hard to see exactly what area may be stronger or weaker in this situation. It makes me think maybe again the damage potential will be pretty isolated in nature, be sparse in nature. You see a significant weather advisory by the way toward Hamilton County gets to 40 there, but this is what we have the potential for 60 here in this yellow area that we're tracking right now. I know we're keeping our eyes on here, that area outlined in yellow. You can see there some of these areas all the way down to the coast and then up through Pineland, Perry, Boyd, Madison, Lee, and near I-10, but the worst isn't necessarily near I-10, but still we're going to be watching here. We're going to be watching here this action. There could be some issues there. I might pull up a camera in a moment, but getting reports that the action there, that few lingering strong pulse storms from Hamilton to Eccles, along with the Deccan severe storm, it has pushed into northern Coffee County. Just going to be watching maybe for more heavy rain threat. They're saying it looks like the storm near Broxton actually getting stronger than the storm near Denton there to action the higher storm potential there. And we just got a significant weather advisory. Coffee County, that threat there looks stronger now, more nasty than what we were seeing off toward the east. But again, continuing to watch things, continuing to monitor the situation here, checking some things behind the scenes. I know for some cameras that may have a little bit of an audio issue here, so I will try to pull one up though right near I-10, see if there's anything too interesting going on. Again, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of the situation here that we're dealing with. Just seeing exactly how things look out that window. That can be important. Maybe you're not really wanting to get near the window right now because the storms are just too nasty in your area. We can kind of give you a look outside that window, how nasty things can be, how dark the sky is, how high the rainfall rates may be in a certain area. So going to get right near Madison there along I-10 and see exactly what we can kind of provide you with. Just checking some of these different cameras here. Let's pull up this one here. This looks like a pretty good visual. Yeah, you can see that rain blowing around here. Semi just coming through. It looks like not too many people on the road, but let's take traffic full now. Kind of see what we're talking about. This is I-10 there at mile marker 255. You can kind of see some of that rain blowing around. Maybe not quite as much as it was just a second ago, but there it is, a little bit more even. You kind of have to look depending on the contrast on your screen. It might make it a little hard sometimes. But again, this is that Florida 5-in-1 perspective there toward Madison. See the trees shaking there, blowing around. So just something that's kind of intriguing in nature here as we give you that live view right now. Again, you can look on the left side of your screen. I'll put a mouse on it, but you can definitely see that blowing around there. See some of this rain blowing around here, some gusty winds along Interstate 10 right now. So let me go ahead and move away from that for a moment. Check out some of these other cameras, if there's any other better perspectives even. Sometimes you can get better ones depending on where you're looking. Just try to see if there's anything any better, any more intriguing here in nature. I know. I just see in some cameras, this is a camera focused on a sign right now. Kind of unusual, but it's shaking around pretty good. I mean, these cameras doesn't take extreme winds to shake them like this. I mean, once you get in a tropical situation, a hurricane, you start to lose the camera overall. So these aren't extreme winds, but still some pretty strong winds. This is a shaking of the camera right now because of those toward Madison County. So again, this is Florida 5-1 perspective there, mile marker 257. This is looking off there toward the west, it looks like, though. That's just behind my logo there. The direction this is pointed in right now, but this is eastbound. It's a little bit interesting there, that nomenclature, but with that naming and the directions. But again, gonna continue to watch things. The shaking's kind of letting up some. You still see some trees blowing around, but we'll keep our eyes on that. Just a different perspective there. In general, a different viewpoint of the situation. Saw some lightning as soon as I took that away. So, just trying to see some areas of the east. You're not seeing all that much. It's kind of interesting. Definitely interesting in nature. This here is showing some dark clouds at the top of the screen. Let me go ahead and pop this up. Kind of hard to make out exactly what's going on here, but you can definitely see some low-hanging clouds there at the top of the screen as we get a little further off toward the east on this view. So just always intriguing to see that. Just see if there's any type of rotation here. Not necessarily able to make that out right now. It just depends on the contrast to how you're looking at things. Some monitors here in the Weather Center show one thing. Others kind of show a little bit more of a blended view, but some of that accent extended down maybe behind this I-10 at mile marker 260 thing here. But again, this is a Florida 5-1 perspective. So just trying to give you guys an idea of what's going on here. Definitely seeing some things hanging on down here, maybe getting some of that rain down to the surface. This is kind of intriguing to see. Again, Florida 5-1 perspective here toward the Big Bend of Florida here on I-10. Just kind of intriguing to see some different structures here within the cloud cover. You can see a little bit of rainfall in there as well. So we'll just continue to kind of watch this accent. It's moving away. The view to the right is moving away from this camera in general. This is looking south though, according to our direction indicator. Again, the bug is in the way for that, but that's what it's showing right now. Definitely interesting to watch the clouds though. The structure here, just always interesting to see different things. Maybe trying to extend down a little bit here in nature with the overall formation of things. So just trying to give you guys an update on what's going on here. Try to give you guys that viewpoint here live on the air. Again, seeing some darker clouds there right at the top, just above the I-10 at mile marker 260 banner. Looked like we had a little flash in there just now. So that's kind of interesting. But just got to be careful here in this type of situation. Remember when thunder roars going towards severe thunderstorm warning, just want to go ahead and make sure you're in that interior room. If you're really feeling threatened, or at least just indoors, that's important. Just to be in that indoor space here in a severe thunderstorm situation, or just a thunderstorm situation in general. I see different reports come out from Pinellas and Lee counties here. Florida Division of Emergency Management reporting a structural fire started in Pinellas County, but no injuries there near the community of Holiday and Lee County. Lightning strike started a house fire and damaged a roof, but nobody was home at the time. So a little bit earlier on, some of that action. So definitely interesting to watch this visual here, looking at the top of the screen. We'll go ahead and move away from traffic for now. Get back on over toward the Doppler radar viewpoint here. Just checking some different things here in the Weather Center. Seeing exactly how this action is kind of evolving here. Seeing a little bit of upscale growth there near Madison, it looks like, based on our indicator. there on the screen. So you can see that one icon, maybe for some increasing threat of hail possibly there. Probably wouldn't be too large still though, still under probably severe. But the wind threat's the bigger deal, and that just shows an indication of maybe some strengthening in that particular area. So that's always kind of something to focus on here. That's something to kind of keep in mind on this Monday evening. So again, just I'll keep checking some different cameras behind the scenes here, trying to see if there's anything really intriguing here to show you or not. Right now, nothing just really visually telling, but we'll continue to check some of these while we're here live with you. Again, just not seeing a whole bunch here on our perspectives at the present time, but things can change rapidly. This here shows some pretty nasty conditions. Mile marker 254, at least shows the reduced visibility here. Let's go ahead and jump over to that. You can kind of see how the cars there further back. It's harder to see them, and a little bit harder to see on that roadway as well. Just make sure you're slowing down here as we look at the Florida 511 perspectives out there. Just trying to give you those viewpoints here, those live perspectives out there across the area that we can give you. This is looking off there in the area. So again, just trying to show you exactly what's happening. You can see a little bit of the ponding of the water on the roadways there as that semi truck goes through. Again, just trying to show you what is happening here. This is going eastbound, but looking west, looks like it lost its connection a little bit there. It could be on our end, but sometimes the power again can have some issues there when you have storms around, obviously. So again, I was trying to see exactly what's happening here. You can see some of that wind enhancement right near I-10. That definitely looks like some of the strongest action now, right where we were seeing the low-hanging clouds a few moments ago. So that's kind of intriguing to see right there near State Road 53 where that intersects I-10. So that looks like some of the strongest action now right near the exits there around Madison more than downtown Madison. You can see some things kind of coming together there with some wind enhancement. That really came together on that latest scan. Let's see if we can get another look at that that camera we saw, the low-hanging cloud. That was pretty interesting, I thought, especially seeing the radar show things kind of coming together like that. Just can give you some different perspectives sometimes here. Some different visuals can give you some different perspectives on the situation at large. I'm going to check one of these views a little bit further off. You can kind of see a little bit of low-hanging action here. It's hard to make out on this screen, but definitely interesting to see some low-hanging action there for sure. It's hard to make out exactly what that is, but again, just definitely intriguing here to see. Looking I-10 there, mile marker 260. So again, this is Florida 511 perspective there. Really kind of hard to make out exactly what we're looking at there, but definitely some storms in the area. So again, just trying to keep our eyes on things here in this type of situation. So again, going back over to the Doppler radar here. Again, Madison getting it pretty good right now, right near I-10. Even getting into downtown a little bit, but right here closer toward State Road 53, that's where we're getting some stronger wind enhancement. That's some of the stronger wind enhancement I've seen on the radar, because sometimes more of the downburst, and if they're weaker looking further away, you're not able to see them maybe as good. This is just showing some pretty high wind over a wide area, gust 40 plus miles an hour possible, if not closer to 60 in an isolated nature. So again, we're continuing to watch that near Madison there in Madison County. A warning going to 7:30 for parts of Fayette, Madison, and Taylor. We said we weren't going to stay on too long, but some of those cameras kind of intriguing to see. So we've stuck with you a little bit longer. See a little bit of wind enhancement there, piling. No cameras down there to show you, but a little bit of enhancement and gust there in the 20s toward the airport a little while ago. So just kind of interesting, intriguing to see that. You can see the upscale growth here too, right near Madison. So I think we saw some pretty nasty storms there percolating on our cameras here over the last little bit. So just checking some of our different visuals still. Definitely intriguing to see, intriguing to watch here. Going between all of our different cameras right now. See if there's anything to show you guys. Road slick in some spots. Just got to take it easy, obviously, there. So again, continuing to watch this, continuing to monitor everything. Again, 649 Doppler is showing winds about 40 miles an hour there across state route, it looks like, and State Highway 53. So again, I just seeing some of that in terms of any turbulence there going on with this. You can see a little bit of that right near Madison, a little bit of that red center. This is something we don't show very often, by the way, so if you're kind of confused by it, that's why it's something that's not shown that often. You can see a little bit of those red dots showing up there and a little bit near Pineland. It's just showing the turbulence within the storminess here. And maybe some stronger acts, and getting closer toward Pineland, toward Madison right now. There, Madison County. So again, we'll watch to see if we get another warning further off toward the west. I mean, we may. So I was looking at HRRR high-res model was showing stuff decaying pretty quickly, though. So hopefully that ends up being the case. But we've seen 2 warnings now off this line here. So just kind of interesting to see here in the grand scheme of things. We're just going to continue to watch, continue to track things. I know we're looking about 3,000 feet up or even less than that towards some of this accent around Madison. I know we'll get a new scan here in just a moment. I'll be curious to see if any strengthening or weakening occurred here toward Madison or Pineland on this next scan of the Doppler radar. So again, just always important to be inside that sturdy building here when you have severe storms or even just lightning in play. Lightning, of course, is one of nature's #1 killers. If you hear thunder, you're close enough to be struck by lightning. Just keep that mantra of the Weather Service in mind. And of course, I know it's not our focus of this live stream, but I'm concerned towards St. Louis later on in east central Missouri. There's some model guidance showing some flood potential there later on tonight. So make sure that Metro St. Louis area, make sure everybody's staying safe up that way as we continue here with our local coverage right now. Again, you can see here around Madison, seeing some of the stronger winds. The latest scan actually showing an increase in wind potential now a little bit. You can see some of these brighter colors. We're now seeing pixels to 44 miles an hour there, just north of the interstate there. That's intriguing for sure there. Around the community of Madison, a more populated area. So that's something that we have to kind of watch here. We're in a pretty good spot on the radar to get that little bump there in the velocities like that, right on the edge. I mean, that definitely could be producing the winds based on the cloud structure that we've seen here as well. Just got to be mindful of what could be happening there in the Big Bend of Florida with this yellow box in play until 7:30. So again, I see it even on our system here. Our system that analyzes things, the hail potential is coming up some now too in that area. So let me go ahead and say, you guys, what we're talking about. That's still hail at about 9/10 of an inch in diameter there. And you can go over the last hour and see some of that as well. Most of that tow in the last few minutes, even because this is showing that uptick a few frames ago, not as much now, right? Moving maybe closer in toward Madison. If it holds together and we're downtown, now that's where we have the accents for some different things there. If you're trying to go to Tallahassee or go to Jacksonville and get off the interstate and take care of a few things, getting some food, something like that. So again, just going to continue to watch things. We'll zoom on out here. And you can see that's the only warning right now. You see the lightning report toward Pinellas there, the structure fire and toward that area. No injuries though. And then again, you have all that accent Missouri I've been alluding to. You can see some areas of lighter rain, but then we have warning there in Illinois, Washington County, Illinois, of Southwest Missouri, Branson, Springfield TV market area. You can kind of see here some severe warnings in play there. So again, just interesting to watch. We have that warning that went away toward Jeff Davis County, the accident in Coffee County, though, locally. Seeing some of that even toward areas there, closer toward Ambrose and Ozerfield there as well. So, north of Adel, a little bit of accident right over Lenox on I-75. But, again, just interesting to see here what's happening right around Madison. The rain definitely coming down here. Let's go to a shot we have right now. Let's go ahead and switch on over, folks. We have a traffic camera view here. Kind of give you guys a look outside at reduced visibility, maybe even a few little limbs It's hard to make out for sure, but maybe a few little limbs there right on the road, so right on the side of the road, I should say. But again, continuing to watch some of that here. Just gotta always be careful on the road as we look outside there. Let's go ahead and jump away from that view. I'll check see if there's anything else to show you here, as this accident's kind of a little bit nasty around Madison. There in Madison County, ironically. I know there's some issues with some of the cameras, it looks like, right now, and we've tried about we can have that problem from time to time here. Definitely seeing some lighting a little bit further off here, so let's go ahead and pop this viewpoint up. You'll kind of see what's happening. Again, I saw some of that lighting right before I took this camera. You can definitely see folks having to go a little bit slower on the roadway right now here because of the nasty conditions. I just got to take it easy here on the roadway in Madison County. Again, severe thunderstorm warning going in toward about 7:30 as we're looking there. So again, there's a visual. Let's get back to the Doppler. Looks like the storm may be kind of weakening a little bit, losing a little bit of strength. That's where we're kind of going with that. I could bring someone down to the surface though. I gotta keep that in mind. I mean, even if a storm is weakening, it's not necessarily over in terms of that potential here for some nasty accidents. So again, we're going to continue to watch, continue to monitor things. I know we ramble on from time to time, so if we're repeating the same information, I apologize, but it's just important because different viewers can be tuning in or tuning out of the coverage. Just want to make sure exactly what's going on. I'm meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center in North Central Florida. That's where I'm located, and we're looking off toward the Big Bend right now. So again, continuing to watch this. Continuing to monitor the situation. I know things can get a little boring from time to time, maybe as we talk, but just kind of be that night light per se here. If you want to know what's going on, able to pull up the cameras, maybe quickly, quicker than maybe you could on your own end, on your own. So just trying to give you guys those visuals here outside, the Doppler perspective. I think we're gonna keep watching things around Madison. Still some stronger wind, but it's a little weaker on velocity now. We still got to watch some of this here, maybe east side of Madison up toward areas there north of Lee, getting maybe even closer there toward Hanson, that they're out of the warning. But we'll watch all this. It seems to be the strongest accent right now. The other accent looks weaker near Pineland now. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for now. Yeah, be careful on Madison. If we get new information in that we need to jump back on with, we will. But otherwise, we'll be back here tomorrow unless we have another warning that we need to come on for. Something like that. That's another potential option here, another potential situation. Might jump back on. But again, when we're off the air, you can go over toward our different platforms here. You can go Facebook, Casey Cloud Every Accent at Cloud Weather, Twitter at Cloud Casey, YouTube, search for me on that account, Meteorologist Casey Cloud. On that platform, I should say, search for that account, and then Twitch, Meteorologist Casey Cloud. You have cloudweather.com as well. All the different links to the coverage, the radar tabs on there. So that's helpful in this type of situation. You can pull all that up. You have the forecast map there, homepage. Just kind of scroll on down there and get to that. I know we were already talking about the higher rain chances for today. May have some higher rain chances later this week. We'll be discussing more of that here tomorrow. More on that, more on all those different potentials that could arise. Hopefully nothing gets too crazy on St. Louis in East Central Missouri, but that's something that is a possibility. So we'll keep you guys informed, but for now, thanks so much for tuning in and trusting me. Stay safe. This warning still continuing from Madison south there all the way to the coast till 7:30. So remember, if you hear that thunder roar anywhere, not just here, go indoors and still just keep in mind, could have some stronger gust of winds regardless of me not being on here. Just after a while, you don't want to keep repeating ourselves if it's not like a tornadic situation necessarily. You can see some greens there on the Doppler radar near Madison, some brighter greens. That's something to keep our eyes on.